Great. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First on the agenda, we have welcome and introductions. Do we want to go through everybody, or just if anybody's new, they can introduce
So
themselves?
if anybody is new, they can introduce themselves and maybe the officers.
So I'm Elizabeth Magden. I'm the chair of SHAC.
I'm Bethany Logan and I'm the superintendent's designee for SISD.
And I'm Michelle Rutherford. I'm the co-chair.
All right.
We are guests, but we are new to the ISD, the Smithville ISD SHAC, and we are from the Family Crisis Center in Bastrop, but serving the 4-county area.
Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And good afternoon. This is Donna Nichols from the Bastrop County Public Health Department, and it's great to see our partners from the Bastrop Family Crisis Center. Hi, guys. And all of you at SHAC. So thank you for having us here. And I do have an associate on the call as well.
I can unmute. There we go. I am said associate. My name is Adriana Rodriguez, and I'm the information specialist here at the Bastrop County Public Health Department.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us today. Anybody else want to introduce themselves before we move on? All right, well, we'll move on to the approval of the last meeting minutes. Our last meeting was on the 10th of October. So do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 10th?
I make a motion to approve the minutes. Rebecca Hamilton.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Judy Bergeron. I will second.
Great. Thank you both. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment today?
No, ma'am, we did not. We do need we need a full vote for the approval of the last minutes after the second.
Okay, so everybody raise your hand either on your camera or virtually. You can raise your hand on the chat box too if you vote to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Jennifer, did we get all of those counted?
Sorry, I was clicking ahead.
Are we good to move on?
Lindsay, did you get them all? I'm sorry.
No, I'm still trying to figure out if we even have a quorum. Right.
I know.
We will pause.
1, 2, 3. SHAC members.
Well, while we're waiting to make sure that we have the quorum to approve the minutes, Dr. Magdan, are you okay if I introduce our guests and because that way we can keep the meeting moving?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so we have with us today from Bastrop County, two important partners with us. One is the Credible Mind Mental Health Resources and also the Family Crisis Prevention. Not only do our families use these two resources, but it's also good to help get the word out about what is available in our county and to our constituents. And so they both will be presenting to us, which is very exciting. And then we will continue on with kind of our committee business. So Jennifer, are we good to...
I heard just part of that. I'm sorry.
Are we good to keep to do a full vote, or we already did the vote?
Right now, I only have had 9 people sign in, so and I'm trying to match that with who signed
Okay,
in.
so we'll just keep going and
Yeah.
then we can revisit it.
Okay, I'm still watching.
Okay. So, like I said, we had our Bastrop County presentation, so I'm going to turn it over to Adriana Rodriguez from the Bastrop County Public Health Department.
Thank you so much. And Donna, I think you're gonna introduce me here for a moment, so I'm gonna turn it to you to turn it back to me.
Of course. So, hi, everybody. It's so great to be able to talk with Smithville SHAC. It is a natural alignment for us as a public health department. We're the newest local health department to come into the public health system in well over 30 years. The health department is all of 2 years old, and we're beginning to add programs and resources to the work of the department. And one of those outstanding resources happens to be Credible Mind. And Adriana Rodriguez, who is our information specialist at the department, is here to talk about this exciting resource because it gives us the greatest opportunity to reach folks who need some additional support around mental health. And so, Adriana, I'm going to turn it back to you, my dear. I'm here to support the home team, and anything that I can answer after this wonderful presentation, I'd be happy to. Otherwise, I look forward to working with all of you in the near future. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here. Adriana, it's all yours.
All right. So I thought it's good to start a presentation by letting people know what you're talking about. So what is Credible Mind? Credible Mind is a free, confidential platform. It's available on your mobile, on a laptop, on a iPad, anything that can connect to the internet, and it's available 24/7. It provides resources like articles, podcasts, videos, and self-assessment tools, among other things. And that sounds kind of vague and nebulous right now, but I'll go more into detail when I give the demonstration and show you what those resources sort of look like. It is community driven in the sense that we can populate the pages that appear. We get to put local resources on the website. And again, I will show you what that looks like on the actual demonstration. It can be used anonymously. You have the option to sign in and create an account to sort of track what assessments you've taken, and sort of what tools you use most often, but you don't have to create an account to use the platform. And you can still access everything fully. The only thing is it won't save what your results on an assessment were. And it is available in both English and Spanish. And then we'll go on to the next slide. Before we adopted Credible Mind as a community, we formed a mental health coalition to decide, is this a good resource for Bastrop County and the people living in it? And that consisted of members from several different organizations, including Bluebonnet Trails, the Heal Alliance, the Children's Advocacy Center, Family Crisis Center. Gigi has been really present in a lot of our meetings. Indigent Healthcare, the Sheriff's Office Victim Services, and private practitioners, as well as, I forgot to list this on there, but Bastrop County Cares. So we really tried to make sure that we spoke to a lot of the people that deal with mental health in this community before making the decision. So here is where I'll give the demonstration. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, you should be. I'm going to
Great.
stop sharing mine so that you can share.
There we go. I've sent the request. Perfect. Share, and then let me make sure I click on the right screen. Here we go. So we're gonna go here. And then I'll click here. And this is what our Credible Mind homepage looks like. If you scroll down, this is the community resources that I was talking about. I completely populate this page, and I include things, in the county that are actually available, and they're tagged so that people know what exactly they do and what services they provide. Because I'm here in the SHAC, I think a section that will be of interest to you is the newly added youth section. And the youth section is specifically targeted towards 13 to 18-year-olds. They just added this about a month ago. And if you scroll down, it'll show you trending topics: anxiety in young adults, depression in young adults, bullying, healthy social media use. And then it kind of recommends sort of topics that it thinks that youth would most likely need: Friendship 101, how to manage back to school anxiety. And it provides different kinds of resources. They're not just articles or assessments. There's videos, there's podcasts, there's insights. And all of this information in the youth section is particularly geared towards young adults and teens. Just to show you the Spanish capability, you click up here in the top, and it's all translated to Spanish. It's all available in Spanish, and you can just as easily switch back. And here I am logged in, so it would show, these are the assessments I've taken as an example. But something that I could see being important is the fact that I, as an administrator, have access to the insights. And I wanted to show what those insights look like a little bit, just so you can see that I'm not getting individual information. It's not saying this person with this email signed in at this time and took this assessment. I can't see anything like that. But I do get numbers. And the numbers from this report are things that I'm sending back to the Mental Health Coalition members to show them, hey, this is what people in our community seem to be struggling with right now. You'll see overall we've had 1,264 users since launch on September 22nd of last year, which is pretty good. But ideally, we want to keep getting the word out, keep giving people access to these resources. And then just to sort of show you what the assessments look like and show you around the website, topics there are over 100 topics available, but you can also search specifically. So maybe you specifically want to look for bullying. You can search for that. It'll show you the bullying topic. And when you click here, you can take an assessment, or it'll show you different tips and tools for dealing with bullying or bullying resources. And this can be helpful to parents just as much as it can be to students. The Learning Lab is kind of new where they added these courses, but it's sort of like a self-guided thing. It's not meant to be treatment per se, but it will give you advice and you can read through. It's almost like, I'm getting my doctorate, so I'm thinking in school like Canva, you go through and you get your assignments and you click through to complete everything. The community resource page is the page that I put in. You can see we have the Children's Advocacy Center, Bluebonnet Trails. All of these are local resources that are available to help. And then insights are sort of like little articles that can help teach tips and tricks. And I think that's it for the demonstration. So my next slide would be, what questions do you have, so that I don't show you too much more than what you're looking to learn about.
Do they need to log on to, sorry, go ahead.
Just thought I would say, why are we doing this as a public health department? When we first started talking to our community about what are the priorities for health in Bastrop County, the one thing that kept coming up time and time again was the need for mental health resources and guidance and support. And this particular website was featured at the National Association of City County Health Officials, or NACHO. This particular website is used in well over 200 communities across the country and in several states, in several full states. So they have a fairly good track record. They're always curating new resources and providing new opportunities on this particular website. They also provide it in, I want to say, close to 30 other languages. We, of course, started with Spanish, of course, but this is one opportunity to look at how do we support folks before they get into a more distressed or concerning diagnosis. How do we prevent mental health disorders before they appear very strongly? So just wanted you to know that this again is free. It's available to everyone in the county. We're very pleased with our uptake in the use of the platform because 1,200 clients in a very short period of time is pretty impressive. And we've gotten great feedback. It is a great opportunity for our young folks to use it. In fact, they're one of our higher user groups on this particular platform. So I'm going to stop talking and let you guys ask as many questions as you would like to ask.
I have a couple of questions. Rebecca Hamilton.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi. Is there an app for it?
There is not an app, but you can still access the page from your mobile phone.
And then how are you getting the word to the ones, especially on the youth? How are we getting the word to them?
So I was able to present about Credible Mind at the Heal Alliance's Youth Summit recently. And I'm also currently working with the Heal Alliance to see how else we can partner to get this out to youth. And I also run our Facebook and Instagram pages where I'm also posting about this and letting people know that it's out there.
And what about Smithville ISD? Is there like something on their website maybe that would direct them to you if they need it?
We can certainly add that to our resources page. We wanted to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to see what Credible Mind was before we added it, because it is a part of our SHAC page, and we wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what resources, because that was a topic that we had last year about which resources are we adding on our webpage for families. So there you go. We'll make sure to with Ms. Saunders to get it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful.
I just wanted to add the Smithville Public Library, as part of the Libraries for Health, we make sure that our mental health peer support specialist has access to the resources and is able to share them with some of the clients that come in. And I'm really glad to see the youth addition to the website, to the resources, because we'll be able to use that with the youth that come in, our teen night programming and stuff like that. So thank you very much for adding that. And Elizabeth or Bethany, do you need a motion to add this to the website, or is that something that, okay, all right, thank you.
We just wanted to make sure, because it is through the Bastrop County Health Department, that we and aligned our resources last year. So to give you guys some context, is we wanted to make sure that the resources we had available were approved by the HSSC and that everything was copacetic. And so that's kind of where we're at. And that's
Very
why
good.
we wanted to wait for SHAC.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Judy.
Someone had a question about signing in. I'm not sure if they asked it or not.
I did add the link to the sign-in sheet again in the chat. So if you didn't get a chance to fill in the Google Doc, guys, there's a link there in the chat.
Okay, well, thank you, Adriana and Donna, so much for sharing with us. And now I am going to turn it over to our friends at the Family Crisis Center.
Thank you.
And I think you should be able to share your screen.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys for having us again. So I am Gigi Thompson, and then we have Miss Erin and Miss Ashlyn here with us from the Bastrop Family Crisis Center. And we're just going, feel free to chime in and ask any questions as you see available, but also I will be able to take questions too at the end. All right, so with anything, we do want to make sure that you guys are aware that we have our 24/7 hotline. So if you or someone you know is in a crisis, we are here to support. We have our local number, which is the 512-303-7755, but we also have our 800 number for anyone who may not be local. So first and foremost. But also, brief introduction to us. So the Family Crisis Center has been here since 1981. If you were not aware, it started with a couple of women from rural Texas who had a shared vision to support their local neighbors when it came to domestic violence. So since then, it has grown tremendously and evolved into a community leader in rural Central Texas. We have been supporting community members and neighbors for the last over 42 years. So offering services of domestic violence, sexual violence, safety and shelter, and advocacy. Okay. Our overall mission is to be an expert resource and service provider in eliminating domestic sexual violence, and then also in addition to stalking for Bastrop, Colorado, Fayette, and Lee County. So we envision a community where we can all thrive and be safe. So if you aren't aware, we have our main office here in Bastrop, but then we also have our satellite office in Fayette, Lee, and Colorado County. Our main office is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. However, our hotline is 24/7. And then our satellite offices are open by appointment. So you would need to call and schedule an appointment through our hotline. However, we do have out-of-county advocates, and they are available too. So if you called the hotline and wanted to be able to schedule something, they do have their services where they'd be able to receive services in proximity as fast as we could possibly get there. But we do have advocates who service those areas. Our main services are going to be client services, counseling, offender accountability, and community awareness and prevention. And so with those, our client services consist of crisis intervention. So once again, we have advocates who are available to help with safety planning, court accompaniment, medical and law enforcement accompaniment, our 24/7 hotline, which does extend to also if they're needing SANE exams or any other hospital examination. We also have our 24/7 shelter, and that's going to be for survivors of domestic violence and sexual violence. We have to specify that because sometimes we'll also have calls that'll come in looking for shelter. However, ours only does survivors of sexual and domestic violence. And then we have our transitional housing for those individuals who are looking to kind of get back on their feet after maybe experiencing shelter. And so we empower them with life skills and work with them with case management, supportive services for youth and the adults, and trying to get them back into transition of normalcy as far as their case goes. In addition, we have counseling, which is individual counseling for youth and adults, and that consists of variation of different styles. And our counselor here, if there is a style that isn't pertinent to maybe the person's transitional counseling, they do also offer other resources to those who may need something different as far as like NDR or oil-based counseling, because we have seen the different variations of different counseling styles that our clients have liked to use. And so in addition to that, we also have support groups for youth and adults, depending on their various topics requested by schools or by their case manager, according to anger management, healthy relationships, along with just trauma-informed care. We also have our AVIP classes. So our main class that is offered is our Batterers Intervention and Prevention program. We are in a state accredited class. Some people offer the class, but it's not accredited. Ours is actually accredited. In addition to that, we offer anger management groups, protective parenting, and our classes collaborate with representatives from the criminal justice system. So they do actually have check-ins with their probation officers, and then also we can be referred from law enforcement and from the judges to participate in our classes. We have our community awareness and prevention education team. So they work with our community in various ways, whether it be a local business, a church, school, the school district, as far as being able to offer resources for the community on how to prevent violence. So that can be PD days for teachers, as far as maybe when it comes to bullying prevention, classroom management. That can be working with local businesses to talk about how to safety plan for their business or harassment in the workplace. That also can extend to helping individuals maybe make their personal policies when it comes to their business or their school, making sure that everything is up to code. And then we also just work with how we can extend into the community as far as building a nonviolence in totality with everyone working together. In addition, we also have our youth advisory board where we train youth, high school youth, to be able to know and recognize signs of abuse, whether it be domestic, sexual, bullying, teen dating violence, and they serve as peer advocates for their community, whether it be through the Smithville, Bastrop, Elgin, all across the Bastrop County, to be a liaison for peer support. So one of our helpful additions to our lovely services is our Bits and Pieces thrift store. They help our families in need when it comes to maybe if someone is also moving and relocating and they only came with what was provided to them on their back. They provide an additional resource to the families that we serve, not only by products and services, but also through finances. So our Bits and Pieces thrift store, in addition to grants, help support the agency as a whole. So we highly encourage donations. Yes, that is a brief gist of our agency. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? I can stop sharing for you guys.
I have a question, Rebecca Hamilton.
Yes.
You say you provide shelter. Is that just in Bastrop, or do the satellite areas have
That's
shelters?
for our satellites as well.
So
And
someone from the
also,
satellite would come to Bastrop?
Yes, ma'am. And that's also, and so once you call in to do an intake to make sure, you know, that we have space available, and we service Bastrop, Fayetteville, and Colorado County. But I mean, we have had some instances where we've done outside the county as well, if space is available or if there's a dire need.
And then when you work with high schools to train other youth to serve as advocates, does the high school reach out to you, or do you go to the high schools and suggest that, or what?
It's a mutual relationship because we will need support from the local district as far as we don't provide services directly on campus. So we typically work with the school social worker or counselor to act as a liaison between both groups of when it comes to helping train those students, but then also they'll be checking in with their local social worker or counselor.
Is there a safety concern if you're an advocate?
It's not so much an advocate, it's more like a peer support and liaison. So they will be able to lead their peers in on services on how to stop violence. So when it comes to maybe doing some bullying campaigning of what does bullying look like? What are the different forms? How can it be addressed? What is it that we actually as a student population want to address? Because, you know, Smithville may look different when it comes to Bastrop and Bastrop Elgin. So they're going to tackle the needs of their actual school district community.
And I would like to suggest that the Smithville ISD consider having something like that as a SHAC or a recommendation from our SHAC.
Would love that. Yes, we would love that.
Do we currently have any student peer advocates in the Smithville area?
Currently we do not. We have our 2 students who are on the SHAC itself. But we have not had students who go through the training, but that could be something that we talk with our, you know, NHS sponsors and our PAL sponsors to see if we would have student interest in that work.
Sounds like a great program.
And if you would like, we have current campuses. So Bastrop High School, Cedar Creek High School, Circa and Elgin all have campus providers. And so if I can put you in contact if you want to know how the process started or if, you know, if it useful, have they seen it useful? Has it been productive for their campus?
Sure, that'd be great.
And when it comes, I'm sorry, I'm going to interject as well. When it comes to the youth advisory board, that is completely based on the school's needs, the availability of the students, what admin has in mind. When we start YABs or youth advisory boards, we don't go in with any specific type of request or agendas on our part. It's absolutely what the school needs, how it would look for them. So we definitely encourage admin and et cetera from Smithville to reach out and let us know how we can support. It's definitely something that we would be interested in doing.
If a minor in the school district had a concern about
over 40 youth advisory board students, about 10 to 15 per campus.
And then we do have a couple students who are homeschooled that just service the county in general.
if a minor in the school district had a concern about domestic violence, would they be able to come to you directly, or would they need somebody over 18 of age?
So that's really where the school support and liaison comes in handy, because that is who the students are connected to directly, and who is a person that can get them the services that are needed based on the school district. So really that's where that connection comes in handy, and why that is our one requirement for a youth advisory board, is to have somebody that is through the school district specifically, who is licensed with the school district, so that when those cases do occur, it allows for them to take over as far as legalities are concerned when dealing with minors in these types of situations. I hope that answered your question.
Well, thank you guys so much for being with us, because I know you've taken time out of your day to visit with us, but we certainly appreciate it, and we'll definitely be talking in the future, and we can keep on going, Dr. Bagden, if nobody has any questions.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So next up on our agenda is review of the December board meeting SHAC resolution for curriculum. Dr. Logan, you're still on mute.
Okay, try that again. So as many of you remember from last year, we decided to look at EHA legal and local regarding the instruction of students when it comes to things like domestic violence, dating violence, and all those things. And so we took a good chunk of the mountain and had it approved by our SHAC and our school board for those resources specifically. And the next piece of that is for human sexuality instruction. And I'm going to click on this. And so the board, according to our law, right, of section 28.004, the Board of Trustees has to do a resolution in order for us to study the possibilities of having human sexuality curriculum. Right. And so, again, this has to follow the rules of board policy and the law. And we have to hold 2 public meetings on the curriculum materials once SHAC says, okay, this is what we have voted on and think that it is the best course going forward. And make sure that the curriculum materials comply with the content requirements in law and are suitable for age. And then we will present our recommendation for the board at a public meeting no later than June 2026. And so the board, we will go to the board in January to request the resolution be put forward. And then we will convene our committee as stated in our bylaws. And so I did want to point out is what are the human sexuality curriculum requirements? One is always parents have the opt-in requirement. We can't just blanket teach it and say, okay, we're gonna just have this group of students. No, it has to be consent that is sent separately from other notices at least 14 days before instruction begins. So what that would mean is like, you know, sometimes we, at the beginning of the year, we send one for counseling, we send one for nurses stuff. This has to be separate and apart, right? The other piece of that is it has to be abstinence focused. And if in fact, the committee recommends anything with contraception, that abstinence is the 100% most effective method. And it also must be aligned with the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, right? And so the law is very specific about what we are allowed to do and not do. And so this kind of brings us to our piece of reflection, right? About what are those multiple perspectives of this topic and what does it all include? You know, when I was visiting with the counselors and the nursing staff, one of the areas that came up for them is about hygiene for 4th and 5th graders, because we do not talk as a group about hygiene. The nurses, you know, sometimes will have individual discussions, or counselors will, but we have not done hygiene instruction. And that was a really important thing to that group because, you know, they see the repercussions of kids getting made fun of. They see like the health issues that go with it. So I'm going to give everybody a few seconds just to kind of jot down about what are those perspectives that we really want to think about and consider as we're looking at curriculum and different resources that are available. All right. Does anybody have any perspectives that they would like to share?
Well, I think since it's an opt-in program, it would be good to have an education that was as comprehensive as possible.
And I reviewed the curriculum. I think it's excellent. I think someone did an excellent job getting all of this together.
So for
very
those of you,
comprehensive.
so for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to see the resources I've been collecting, is I asked our Catch Central Texas group, which is our coordinated approach to childhood health group, what resources they were using and was it working? And so the resources that are on that page are what our sister districts have implemented and who gave the green light of our families like it, our students are good with it, and our community, it represents our values. And so there may be more out there that we don't know. And so, you know, as you all are, you know, talking to other individuals of, hey, what are you guys doing? That's the time to bring it forward because, you know, we don't know all the resources that are out there. We know some. Does anybody else?
I have a question about the opt-in process. Is it I can opt into the entire course or not? Or can I opt into the course, but then withdraw for certain topics that I don't want my child to be exposed to or to learn
Well,
about?
that's a great question, Judy. And, one of the things that we as an administrative team and as a nursing team and as a counseling team, as we all are coming together, is what does that truly look like? And I think the junior high came up with a pretty efficient system, because for health class, we are required to do paternity awareness education from the Texas Attorney General's office, and we list out the lessons and the topics and provide parents the resources. And if they choose to opt into those, then they just put it on the Google form. And that way, you're because there are some people who are not comfortable having the discussion of STIs, or nor do they want that in their taught at school, but then they do want to have the discussion about hygiene. So those are things that we can work through as we're developing the opt-in of topics.
Thank you.
So does anybody else have any perspectives that they would like the group to consider?
This is Michelle Rutherford. I have just to that point you just made about opting in, opting out at different periods. I think that's fine as long as it's not going to interrupt the learning of any of the other students who are opting in for the entire program. If we can just make sure that it doesn't interfere with, I don't know. I just see that
that's
kind of being a
that's
disruption.
that's a great point, because we want it to be the least disruptive to the campus, right? And the business that the campus is doing and the teachers. We don't want to put more work on the teachers, for sure.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I have another question real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
This is for 26-27 school year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of time, but I wanted us to make sure that we had ample time to review the different curriculums that are out there, because there are some that are, a mile wide and, 10 feet deep. And then there are some that just kind of scratch the surface. And so that's why I wanted us to be able as a SHAC team to really dig in and really find those pieces of the curriculum. And can we do different things for different grade levels? Yes. Are we locked into where we go? We need to make sure that everybody has it 6-12, the same thing. Not necessarily. And so I think it's one of those things that we look at. What's the best use of our resources? What's the best thing for students? What's the best thing for our teachers? And what will parents respond to? Our bylaws say in Article 4 that the co-chair is a designated lead of the curriculum committee. And so now we need volunteers who are willing to review the curriculum and come to a couple meetings before we bring it back to SHAC of their recommendations and pros and cons and all of that kind of work. So it sounds like some, like Rebecca, have already, kind of invested in some time of looking at those pieces. But we'll take anybody who would like to volunteer to provide input. This can be non-voting members of SHAC who want to participate, because we really are looking for input. And so if you want to, there's a couple different ways we can do this. If you want to put in the chat that you are willing to serve on the committee, that is great. If you would like to email me or Michelle, that is an opportunity as well. But we do want to make sure that we're reaching our community, because I don't think this is a one-sided process. That is for sure.
Dr. Logan?
Yes.
So I would just like to ask anybody who's on the call right now, if you do have students currently in the district who would be opted in or opted out, if you in particular would consider being on the committee, since you have children at the age that we're trying to teach.
And that was my question. Dr. Logan, you mentioned non-voting members of SHAC, but what about parents that are not members of SHAC? And I can probably check and see if they're a non-voting member. But
Yeah,
can I
that would be
share it with
great. We
them?
will take it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I did put together a document that I linked in on the agenda for everybody. But what are the requirements that we are required to do? And listed out some resources that have high school and junior high. And any of these resources, the curriculum person that is with each of those said that they could come and speak to our subcommittee or to the SHAC themselves. The other piece is, for hygiene, there are some great resources that like Travis uses around fourth and fifth grade, right? And that your body is changing and there are some things you got to do. And Catch has some great lessons as well that can be taught through PE. So we have resources. Like I said, there are others out there, but what I have kind of researched is what is working with our partners and to make sure that we are doing our due diligence in that work. So, and it looks like Sophie is willing, Kristen is willing, Liz is willing, Jill. Nope, she's on the call. Sorry. I'm just checking on my people. And then, like I said, if you know of people in the community who would like to participate, and I'll also put it out at our next district site-based for anybody who wants to be a part of the work, that we can definitely take any and all members who want to participate and provide feedback, because I think it is important that we represent the views of our community for sure.
If there are others, should they email you, Dr. Logan,
Sure,
or
they
Michelle?
can email me. That's probably the easiest way, and then I'll put them in touch with Michelle. And
Okay.
then as Michelle and the team start working, we will outline, kind of the dates of those meetings around when our SHAC meetings are, and then kind of talk through what are those public viewing meetings look like and how can people provide feedback online and all the things, right? So that brings us to our, let me see, do we have a quorum, Lindsay?
We are at 10.
Have a quorum.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, so we can go back, Dr. Magden, to the approval of meeting minutes.
Hey, everybody, if you're in favor of approving the minutes from October 10th, please raise your hand.
Aye.
All right.
Becky, I can't see you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And just as a reminder, we will have our next SHAC meeting on March 4th. We hope that you can attend, and we hope to have some research conducted by our subcommittee and our research curriculum committee. And so Dr. Magden, do you want to take us out?
Yes. I don't think I need to vote for adjournment, do I?
Yeah, need a motion. Yep.
Nope, just for adjourned. Done. Thank you, everybody, for joining today.
Okay,
Close enough.
that works. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, what am I doing?